What are your memories of teaming up with Ultimate Warrior and Hogan at Survivor Series?
It was, at the time I thought that I was going to be getting a bigger, a push, and it was just a little taste,
All right.
it was kind of depressing.
What were your thoughts on Ultimate Warrior outside the ring?
uh, Not too much respect for him because he didn't respect the business. I remember him when he was starving when he came in, didn't have anything, and all of a sudden he made it big, and completely changed. I mean, he was begging for a job and begging for help, and all of a sudden he made it, and he didn't have time for you.
Huh. A lot of people said he was pretty crazy after matches and stuff like that as well, from just being on whatever he was on.
Yeah.
Was there any ever thoughts of turning you heel in the late '80s or
No,
early '90s?
I asked when me and Martel split up. I asked Vince if I could be the heel, and he told me no.
Did he give you a reason or?
No, I guess because they had the plans to make him Rick Martel the model already.
Right. What are your memories of your matches with Ric Flair at the Royal Albert Hall?
Uh, Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair was Ric Flair. I mean, he was one of the top heels, in the country. He's a good worker.
Did you like working with him?
Yes, I did. I didn't like, you know, I don't like to work with anybody that gives you a bunch of chops, because all of a sudden, the first chop, there's a meaning to it, and all of a sudden, then they don't mean anything.
Right.
One of the things that I didn't the first time that I worked for him, because I always heard what a great worker he was. Uh, the first time I slammed him from the top rope, and he beat me up. I said, "Boy, that bump really meant something."
Right.
I kind of changed a little opinion on how I thought about his work.
What was the travel like during this time period in the early '90s?
We were always on the road. I mean, in 90 days, I had like 3 days off. That's one of the main reasons that I just got out of it. Shortly after that, I wasn't being used, and I just said to myself, I'm not happy to be away from my family and be on the road as much as I am. Not being involved. I decided to just take it in. Never look back. I never regretted leaving when I did.
Right. Well, actually, I got more questions about that run real quick. Did anyone ever come along? I guess around that time period that you thought had it but never actually made it.
Uh, uh, I really can't think of anybody. Pretty much everybody that was around, other than Salvatore Malomo, maybe,
Right.
pretty much had it, and everybody made it only as far as Vince wanted you to make it. When you were a babyface, I think you were handicapped a little bit because he definitely wasn't going to let anybody get over Hulk Hogan.
Right.
So I think the baby faces were handicapped a little bit more.
Whose idea was it for the Matador gimmick?
Vince,
Vince.
yeah.
Did you like it?
No, I hated it.
Did you tell him that? No.
No, but I thought, I saw him give everybody gimmicks, and they pushed him. I thought when he spent as much money as he did sending me to Mexico to learn how to bullfight and did all those vignettes in
What
Mexico,
was that experience like?
it was a good experience. I thought it's spending a lot of money because I heard he spent over $500,000. The week that I
Wow.
was in Mexico.
Wow.
I said if he's spending all this money, he must be giving me a push. I'll do my best to do the gimmick and to to make it work. And then shortly after we came back, I asked Vince. I said, Vince, what kind of merchandising are you going to do from the Matador? And he says, well, uh, call the merchandise department. So I called the merchandise department, and they said they're going to make the doll. I said, is that all? She goes, yeah.
Huh.
I came home and I told my wife. I said, they don't have any plans for a Matador.
Right. Wow. How dangerous was the training down there with the bull? I mean, did you ever put your life at risk at all?
No.
Or- okay.
No.
Okay. What are your memories of Kerry Von Erich and teaming with him?
Uh, Kerry Von Erich was had a lot of problems,
Drug problems.
drug problems, and I mean, he ended up decapitating one of his foot,
Yeah.
you know, and I to this day I can't, you know, visualize how he was able to do what he did in the ring without a foot. I mean, I can't, you know, he was a great athlete. I mean, he was a great athlete to do what he did, you know, the way he was.
What was he like outside the ring?
If he was sober, straight,
Right.
the greatest guy in the world, you know, the greatest guy in the world. But I guess, again, he was always in pain. So not only was he taking pain pills and other stuff, but, you know, he had to take serious pain pills.
Right. Memories of your matches with Shawn Michaels?
Shawn Michaels was a good performer. I remember when they first came in and they'd be depressed because they weren't pushing him and his partner, and I tell him, I said, look, you guys are around. Your time will come. You know, just hang in there.
You knew he had it.
Yeah,
Factor?
everybody knew he had it. I mean, he was
More than Marty.
Yeah, well, ability. You know, Marty didn't have anything less than Shawn.
Right.
But I think Shawn had the look.
Yeah, definitely. I guess around '92 you wrestled in ECW. Did WWF ever have any problems with that at the time?
Well, I wrestled ECW after I left.
Okay, so you already left the company.
I just left and I went and I wrestled one weekend and never went back.
I think you actually were supposed to, I guess, wrestle or defend the ECW title against Shane Douglas, but I don't know if you ever went back.
I never went back.
Yeah. Why is that?
I just, it wasn't my cup of tea, you know.
Right.
I just didn't want to be.
When you left Vince the last time, did you guys part on pretty good terms?
Yeah,
or?
I wasn't happy, and I told Vince, I said, Vince, can I talk to you? And he said, yeah. And I said, I think it's time for me to go. And he says, I think you're right. I think he was probably relieved that I gave him my notice. You know, I probably because I'd been there longer than anybody at the time.
Right.
I don't think he, you know, I'd like to think that he really didn't want to let me go. That he was relieved for me to do it myself, you know. But who knows? I mean,
do you think your contributions are sometimes overlooked during the boom of the '80s?
I think so.
Why do you think the AWF didn't work? It was another company.
Because they ran out of money.
It was just the
As
money.
a matter of fact, there was a guy I just called
okay.
a little while ago. He it wasn't planned out right. Some other a partner was supposed to invest, and he never invested a dime. And
Right.
The main guy ran out of money.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.